So, fun fact about me, whenever I'm playing a game where I can make a created character, I always tend to go to one name for my character, and it's been this way for years, and it's Kimimaro. And I got this name from the Naruto character Kimimaro, which kind of makes me disappointed myself that I never thought about making a DLC concept for this character in Shinobi Striker, and especially that I didn't think about him whenever Villains was announced as the next DLC concept. But today, we're finally making up for that.
You want to see what true resolve is? I'll show you.
Alright, so today we're doing Kimimaro Man. We did Kakuzu and we did Hidan before, and now you're getting to see the Bone Man himself, or, you know, the Bone Man, I guess. But when we look at some key things about Kimimaro Man, key things in the anime, he was sickly, so we never really got to see him at his full strength. He could basically harden his bones to create defensive moves and also strong blades, and he used this with his Kekkai Genkai Shikotsu Myaku. And he had 5 different dances that he would use whenever he's fighting using his Kekkai Genkai. The first one would be Willow, which is basically bones from his body and his elbow. It was highly offensive. He also had the Camellia dance, which was a bone blade, and he used it for Kenjutsu and slashing. He also had the Larch dance, which is a defensive technique to surprise enemies. This is basically just protruding bones from spots to catch people off guard. Then he moved over to the Clematis, which we were able to see whenever he had his curse mark awakened. The first form of Clematis, because there's 2 forms to it, was Vine, which was a long-range unorthodox technique, you know, that allowed him to set up the final dance, which was the Flower, which was basically a high-power, slow technique, but it was meant to deal the finishing blow with it being a large spear. So when we look at these things with Kimimaro and what he could actually bring into the game, going off of how he fought, like I said, since he did his moves and dances, he was a very majestic fighter where he would move around and he would manipulate the movements of his enemies, slashing by and basically, you know, slipping by but still hitting them in their pinpoints with the bones and stuff like that. This guy was hard to touch. So when we look at the things that he could bring, first of course we get the Master Unlock. I think we can get a new weapon. We already have Kimimaro's bone, but I think the new weapon we could get would be the Clematis bone, and it'd have the Vine and the Flower version depending on what input you do, since we have seen that they can do weapons that have 2 different forms, with them having the blade that comes apart and goes together. And this would be a spear from the bone of Kimimaro, one of the strongest sound ninja ever. This weapon covers a wide range while also having attacks that can close the distance quickly on the enemy. The way this would work, I think you maybe have one activation. If you press the heavy, you go to the Vine activation where you're able to maybe like do like a whipping type motion with your light attacks. If you press triangle, then you move over to the Flower form, which is a little bit more of like a charging technique, and maybe if you do a jump and a jump light or something like that, you dash in with it. I think this would be a pretty cool weapon that allow for some versatility, kind of similar to how it goes with the double blade. I think of course we can get Shinobi Boost. I think we get Kimimaro's hair. I'm pretty sure we don't have Kimimaro's hair. You can correct me if I'm wrong. We also get Kimimaro's outfit, but with the curse mark release. So with him having the shoulder part down. And I think since he had a close connection to him, we could also get Jugo's hair, because I do think he has an interesting hairstyle, with our honorary title being the Empty One, since we know that Kimimaro was a character that very much dealt with loneliness, and that was why he connected to Orochimaru so much. When we actually get into the normal ninjutsu, I think the ninjutsu 1 would be the Willow dance, and the way this one works, the user extends bones from many portions of their body, increasing attack power and damaging enemies who come into contact with the user. Enemies who take damage from attacking have their action speed reduced. Enemies still take damage while the user is guarding. This would basically be a pretty good defensive move. I think it'd work a little bit similar to, I think, the Baryon Tailbreaker, where it's a move that damages you if you come close. So if you hit the enemy while they're in this state, you know, you're going to take some damage from it. I think this would be a pretty good mood, and I didn't mention, going off of the things that Kimimaro can do, I do think that he would probably be a defense type, but this would be a pretty special move in the sense that it still damages you if you're hitting the opponent and they're guarding. I think this would be pretty good. Opponents are trying to hit you, you're guarding, and they're still taking damage. I think this would be pretty cool, and I think this also very much shows what Kimimaro was able to do by catching people off guard, or maybe using his bones in an offensive and also an oppressive way. Let me know what y'all think about this. As far as the ninjutsu 2, I think it'd be the Larch dance. The user user extends bones from their body to repel enemy attacks or surprise a nearby enemy. This move nullifies many techniques and can inflict bleed on enemies hit by the bone. The jutsu can be activated mid-attack. I think this won't work just like body blow, but maybe in a sense that it has a little bit more of a farther range, that it goes out. I think this also nullifies some projectiles, and also with it adding bleed, I think this will be more offensive than body blow. Body blow gets you out of the combos and it gives you a defense boost. This one doesn't give you any type of boost. It's solely for dealing damage or maybe for countering a projectile, which is how Kimimaro would actually use this move. He would use it to counter you and catch you off guard, or maybe just to damage you while you're damaging him. And I think the secret technique would be the Cursed Seal of Earth, level 2. The user activates the Cursed Seal of Earth, level 2. The user automatically recovers health and has their defense greatly increased. Ninjutsu 1 and 2 are changed to unique jutsu for the ultimate. Additional input will activate a powerful wide range technique, protruding bones from the ground of a wide area. So I think your Ninjutsu 1 and Ninjutsu 2 would be basically you using maybe the charging technique with the clematis bone, and maybe another one could be a wide range attack using the version of the vine. So of course you'd have the weapon. They have the weapon, which is unique for the character that you could get, but I think when you went into this ultimate, you would get access to maybe a stronger move that you normally would get from the clematis bone moveset, if that makes any sense. And then the ultimate would be maybe a little bit something similar to the Earth Pillar Explosion, but instead the bones would go up over a wide range, and maybe these could inflict bleed damage, but I do think these things would it'd be pretty hard for you to dodge this. I think a quick counter to this move maybe would be just jumping in the air and getting up high, kind of like similar to what Gaara and Rock Lee did whenever Kimimaro actually did this in the anime. So if you jump up, maybe you can get away from this ultimate. But yeah, that's basically my concept for Kimimaro. This is a character that very much should have got a concept a long time ago, but we finally found a way to get over to him. Let me know what you actually think about my concept. Like I said, I think this character more so would fit in a defense type, since he kind of did have an ultimate defense, kind of similar to what it was with Gaara. But he also could be an attack type, but I'm going to lean more to defense. Let me know what you think Kimimaro would be. Let me know what you would change about my DLC concept. And let me know what other characters you want me to cover and make a DLC concept of, man. But hope y'all enjoyed this. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things. And I will see y'all in the next one. We up.